Hey guys, JackX33 here, and today I'm going to be bringing you kind of a special video. It's a kind of retro deck profile, deck from the past. It's Goat Control. Sure, a lot of you guys know what Goat Control is. If you don't, it's a deck from 2004 to 2005. Definitely was top deck of its format, and probably one of the most skillful decks to be around in the game, and definitely takes a lot of skill to play and all that stuff. I've been playing with it a lot recently, actually. I made the deck up. I think I'm still missing about 4 cards, so I have to use proxies for those, but I have made most of the deck up. I've been playing with it, and yeah, it's pretty fun. And I would advise you guys to build it as well, and try to get one of your friends to build another deck and then mirror match, because it's pretty interesting actually to play it, and it definitely helps you see more plays, not just of the old format, but of just in general Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. So I'll just get on with it. So first off, you play 2 Magician of Faith. This card's obviously amazing because of all the ridiculous spell cards going around back then. Of course, there was a lot less cards that were banned in 2004, 2005, and there was lots less cards that were actually out in the card pool. So this card was just amazing, and you basically always wanted to try to nobleman this card because it's just too good if you can, Magician of Faith back a Pot of Greed or Graceful Charity or anything like that. Next you play 2 Tsukiyomi. This card's obviously amazing. Basically everything back then, not everything, sorry, but a few cards back then had 1,000 defense or lower, so you could just summon Tsukiyomi, flip the card face down, and then attack over it, and then it just bounces back to your hand. Spirits are actually pretty hard to deal with because you can't, you can't Thousand Eyes restrict steal them. You can't snatch steal them. You can't basically do much to them. They're really kind of like nifty, kind of swift cards. And basically, what you wanted to do was have Magician of Faith. So you say you flip this, add a Pot of Greed back to your hand or something. Summon Tsukiyomi, flip this face down, add this back to your hand. There's no Solemn Warning back then, so you couldn't stop Magician of Faith flip, really. And you couldn't stop a Tsukiyomi summon, except, of course, for Torrential. So, the one Torrential. So, it was really hard to get out of there. It wasn't really hard, but it was pretty bad if you got into a Magician of Faith Tsukiyomi lock. This is a proxy for Sinister Serpent. So, what this guy does, if he's in your graveyard, during a standby phase, you just add him back to your hand. So he's basically like a way more broken version of Shrievalon Frog for this format, of course, because, Graceful Charity, Tribe Infecting Virus, they all discard cards, and, it's really good. Plus, you want to have him in hand when your opponent plays Delinquent Duo, so it's not a +1 for them, it's just an equal. Tribe Infecting Virus, like I said, you just pitch a card and kill, whatever type of monster on the field. You can do more than once per turn. It's a really great card, but this card could actually, I think it could come back easily, this format, because Dark Hole's not even that good. I think that Tribe Infecting Virus could definitely come back this format. Next format, sorry, September List. Once again, just to search your stuff. Basically, beat down, whatever. No D prisons, so, he's basically always going to go to the graveyard, unless someone BLSs him. Spirit Reaper. This card's okay in this time, this format. It just, discards defense, pretty much. Of course, it can get Metamorphosis, and all that stuff. Thousand Eyes, but, kind of, it's alright. Breaker. Breaker was actually at 1 this format, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Just because it's so good. Spell and Trap Destruction was really limited in this format, and Breaker was amazing. The only thing bad about it is it can get Tsukiyomi'd, which kind of sucks, because it has 1,000 defense. So can Tribe, actually. Tribe and Breaker can both get Tsukiyomi'd, so it sucks. One Morphing Jar. Morphing Jar is a really good game changer, in my opinion. It's like, it's broken, really. It's just, if you're behind in hand advantage, card advantage, and you actually don't, give away that you have this card down, you don't set your whole hand and just set this card and pass. That's, really obvious. But if you just set this card, slyly, and you can get a few pluses off it, you can really come back into the game. Discard good cards that your opponent has in their hand, and draw some good cards of your own. 1 DD Assailant and 1 D Warrior Lady. Thinking about taking this one Assailant out for, Gravekeeper's Guard or you know, Reaper and Assailant for 2 Spy, or like Exarion Universe, something like that. But right now I'm just playing these two. Good to get rid of stuff, good outs, big beaters. Can't get Tsukuyomi, that's good. And you can set them in bluffs for noblemons instead of your Magician of Faiths, which you should always do. Missouri Priest attacks over all your opponent's ghosts, all your opponent's monsters. It's a spirit, hard to deal with, so yeah. And then for my favourite card of the deck, Tuna Aenite Parshath. I love this card so much. It's obviously not any good now, I wish it was, but, you know, unfortunately, it was good at some point, and it's really cool. So yeah, just like the beater, you know, just try to beat over goats and stuff, deal your opponent 19, and draw a card, so that's basically what you want to do with him, of course. This is BLS. I actually don't have a BLS somehow. The one card that's like really relevant in this format in this deck I don't have, but you know, yeah, so BLS. There's not much like to explain about him, really. Spells, Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed, and this is Delinquent Doer. I actually don't have a Delinquent Doer because it's really hard to find. People are always keeping on to theirs and stuff. So this is what you call the Trinity. Basically the 3 amazingly broken cards in the deck. Just absolutely retarded. Yeah, not much more to say. Not much more to say about those. 3 Scapegoat. Obviously this card's very good because, you know, you Scapegoat Metamorphosis into 1,000 Eyes Restrict. And it's good to have goats on board. I mean, it stops getting, from your opponent to get attacks in with Spirit Reaper or any other card like that. Because, you know, damage is pretty good this format because of course, Ring of Destruction is around. And so if you take too much damage, you're really vulnerable to a Ring of Destruction play. So that sucks. And you basically need to just defend yourself from damage. 3 Metamorphosis. This card can get a bit cloggy sometimes, but you have to play 3 because it's just so good. You can Metamorphosis, you know, obviously Ghost Token or Sinister Serpent or Magician of Faith for 1,000 Eyes Restrict, which is right here. You can Metamorphosis BLS for Cyber Twin Dragon. You can also Metamorphosis Aenite Parshath for Dark Bolter the Cruel? Maybe, I think it's definitely Bolter. That's, you know, that's his name. And he's really great as well, actually. So, yeah, 3 Metamorphosis, just because it's obviously so good. Sorry, it's a long video. 2 Noblemen of Cross Out, just a Nobleman away, like, all those face downs. Setting was so, you know, everyone's sets in this format. It's massive sets. 2 Book of Moon, which I think should be back in the September 2012 format. Book of Moon should definitely come back to 2. Book of Moon is just a really balanced card, and, you know, you play it, you can book 1,000 Eyes Restrict, it's another out for that. You can book your own Magician of Faith, flip it back up. It's pretty cool, and, you know, book's just, you know, good overall. 1 MST, it was at 1, which I think it should be. 1 Heavy was around, so, you know, this is the Spell and Trap Destruction for the most part. 1 Breaker, of course, and some Dust Tornadoes. Then you had Premature Burial, which is now banned, and Reborn is in. I don't agree with this, but I think it has to be because of, like, Bryonac loops or something like that. I've never really been into those loop kind of things. I don't really know about them, but, you know, I think you may be able to loop with Bryonac with Prem, but pretty much definitely should come back, and Reborn should get banned. If, you know, if there's no loops existing, I definitely like Prima way more than Reborn, because you can MST this. It's like Call the Haunted, and you have to pay 800 life points. But of course, you don't have to set it first, but whatever. Snatch Steal. Of course, this card's amazing. You know, one of the good combo was, like, if your opponent has a big throw on field, like Aenite Parshath, Jinzo, or BLS, you can Snatch Steal it, and then you can, so it's equipped with that. Then you can summon Tsukuyomi, and then flip the BLS down, and then flip back up, and Snatch Steal is no longer equipped to BLS, so they can't space the Snatch Steal, and I think they get it back if they space it. I'm pretty sure. Not too fond of that one, but they can't, yeah, they can't space it and get it back. I think that works. You know, they don't gain 1,000 life points every standby phase, so that's really good. That's a good play. And Snatch Steal is just a broken card, even if you don't do that. Like, it's a game changer. Can win you OTK pushes, you know, big pushes, all that stuff. 2 Dust Tornado. You wanted more Spell and Trap removal because you can obviously Dust, Premature Burial, and Call the Haunted. And all that stuff in response to the plays. You do it to Snatch Steal as well. What else is there? Plus, you know, you really don't want to end phase Dust, end phase Space. It's not really how you play this format. You basically wanted to hold it until they had Call the Haunted, Premature Burial, Snatch Steal, anything like that. anything of that kind of nature, and you would just, dust in response to it. So they've used one of their big cards, and you just used a Dust Tornado. That's basically the theory. Even though Dust Tornado was good, it wasn't as good as Prima, Jabariel, or, Call the Haunted or anything like that. So it was still a good card. One call, I'm pretty sure it was a 1. Fairly sure. Don't quote me on it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 1. Just another Prima Jabariel, basically. Of course, you have to set it first, which is unfortunate, but, just get back your Enites, your BLSs, anything at all, just call Sengan in response to a Typhoon if they decide to blind OST or blind Dust for some reason. Heavy Storm, you can call back Sengan or something. And it's good. This is supposed to be Sakurai to Armor. I really couldn't be stuffed looking through my thousands of old commons for Sac Retsu Armor, so I just put in Widespread Ruin, I suppose. It's just a defensive card, gotta play it. One Mirror Force. This card was amazing back then, so you have to play it. Not now. Effects didn't. There weren't effects that can just destroy spawn traps everywhere, like Injectors, so Mirror Force was definitely a viable card. Torrential Tribute was a 1. Obviously, great card, amazing. So good. And then Ring of Destruction. Ring of Destruction was a really dumb card, because there were certain attacks you just could not take, because then you would be vulnerable to a ring right after it, or you'd just be vulnerable to a ring. So if you're on anywhere below 2000, you just have to be so conscious of Ring of Destruction. You have to be in fear of ring, just because just flip game. It also promotes draws, and that's kind of really gay. I mean, I've played a few games where I was in the lead. I was in the leading seat, the front seat. I don't know. I was winning, and then someone would just flip ring, and I'd be like, okay, I lose. It's a draw now. That's great. But yeah. So that's basically the deck, guys. What you want to do is pretty much. I haven't played this format in a while. When I started playing, it was probably the format before this one or during, and I was not a great player. I didn't have the money for these cards. But playing it recently, pretty much you want to hold your good cards, hold your power cards, hold your Graceful Charity, and what do you call it? Graceful Charity. Okay, it's gone somewhere. Graceful Charity until you get Sinister Serpent, because then it's a +1 for you instead of just being an equal. Pot of Greed you just throw down, of course, because it's just, there's no side effect to it. Delinquent Duo you want to hold until you see your opponent's Sinister Serpent in the grave, or until you can basically make a read that they don't have one. It's hard to do. They pretty much can always have Sinister Serpent, but if you see it in the grave, just play this card with no fear, and it's definitely straight +1 for you. Also, try to bet out Noblemans if you can. Don't set Magician of Faith straight up. Or if you have, it's depending on the game situation, but you don't want to get your Magician of Faith Noblemans, if possible. So yeah, guys, that's the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think, if you like this or whatever. And thanks for watching. Peace out till next time.